Hello students, how are you? I think all of you are very fine right now. This is a very pathetic situation is going on throughout the country. So as a responsible people of India and a very responsible citizen of India, we the teachers and you the students have to maintain the social distance as the guidance provided by the Bengal government as well as the central government as well as the World Health Organization. So right now we are here to study the new chapter, that is chapter number 1, chemical reaction and equation of class 10 chemistry. So at the starting, what is a chemical reaction? Chemical reaction. At first make a note, write it. The process by which or in which new substances with new properties are formed from one or more substances is called chemical reaction. Okay, now look at it. Suppose hydrogen is reacting with oxygen and it will produce water. Okay, so two different substances are reacting with each other to produce a substance which are having a completely different behavior and characteristic from these two. Okay, so these two elements or compounds or materials or substances, these are reacting with each other to produce this one. So this is the product, and these are the reactants. That means the reactants which are reacting itself to produce a product. This process is known as chemical reaction. So in the left hand side we have to write the reactants, and in the right hand side we have to write the products. Okay, now just think about it. This is hydrogen. Hydrogen is gaseous property. Oxygen, this is gas also, and water, that is liquid. That means in this chemical reaction the state of matter is changing. That means here in the left hand side, that means the reactant side, two gaseous particles are reacting with each other to produce water molecule, which is actually aqueous or liquid situation. This is aqueous or liquid. Okay, so that is a very important phenomenon, or that is a very important characteristics of chemical reaction. I will give the lecture, or I will give the note later, that what are the main characteristics of a chemical reaction. So just remind it that reactants are reacting with each other to produce product, and the change of state of matter may be happen in some cases. Is it clear to you? Now this is reactant, this is product. So number 1 point, just write a point that the substances which take part in chemical reaction are called reactants. Okay, and next point, the substances which are formed in a chemical reaction are called products. Okay, right now write some example of chemical reaction which we can see in our daily life. Okay, just write some chemical reactions example in our daily life. Number 1, digestion of food. Digestion of food, digestion, digestion of food. Number 2, respiration. That means we are taking oxygen for our respiration process, and we are what? We exhale carbon dioxide. That means oxygen reacts in our body and produce carbon dioxide, what we exhales. Okay, so inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide. Number 3, rusting of iron. We know, if we take a small piece of iron and just place it in the air, in the moisture, okay, for very long days, so after a certain period we will observe that that iron is rusted. That means by the in presence of oxygen, by the reaction with oxygen, that iron is getting rusted. Okay, so rusting of iron. Number 4, burning of magnesium ribbon. Burning of magnesium ribbon. Burning and oxidation both are the cases in where oxygen is the master element. Okay, burning of magnesium ribbon. And number 5, formation of card. Okay, formation of card, CURD. Okay. Okay, so these are the examples of chemical reaction which we are seeing in our daily life. Okay, now write a point: chemical reactions, properties of chemical reaction. Properties of chemical reaction. I will give one point to you and explain it. First point, change in state, which I have already discussed. Change in state. That means some A plus B, suppose this is gaseous, this is liquid, it may produce C and it may be solid. Okay, some A plus B, it is solid, maybe it will produce aqueous or liquid. Okay, so gaseous, liquid, solid, these three are the main states of matter. So the reactants physical state may differ with the product's physical state. Okay, number 2, change in color. That means in some reaction you can see when you add A with B, the color of these two substances are exactly different from the color of the product. So color difference may occur in the chemical reaction. Number 3, sorry, change in temperature. This is a very important point. Change in temperature. Suppose in a test tube, you have taken a substance A. Okay, when you add some B substance with it, maybe after adding of this B substance with A, the total solution, the temperature of the total solution may increase. It may be possible, or the vice versa. That means opposite may be possible. That means when we give B to this A solution, then maybe the temperature falls down. That means two processes there, two different thing may happen. Number 1, increase in temperature, and number 2, decrease in temperature. Both are possible. Okay, so when temperature increases, in that reaction, the reaction is known as exothermic reaction. That is exothermic reaction. That means in which reaction the product's temperature is very much greater than or greater than the reactant's temperature is known as exothermic reaction. And these reactions where the product's temperature is decreased down or the product's temperature is lower than the initial reactant's temperature, it will be known as endothermic reaction. So this is known as exothermic reaction and this is known as endothermic reaction. That means if we say A plus B, let's see, C is the product, okay, plus some heat produced here. That means plus heat, that means exothermic. If minus heat is there, then it will be endothermic. Is it clear? So exothermic reaction and endothermic reaction. It was number 3rd point. And number 4th, evolution of gas. Evolution of gas. That means sometime, suppose I am taking one reaction, zinc plus H2SO4. In this case, zinc sulfate plus hydrogen. So this is gas, hydrogen is gas. So sometimes in the chemical reaction, suppose one solid is reacting with one liquid, and here it produce ZnSO4, that is a precipitate, and that means the solid precipitate is there, solid in liquid, okay, and hydrogen is gas. So in some reaction you may get some gaseous particle which may evolve from the gas, okay. So some gas may be produced in some cases. So the number 4th point was what? Evolution of gas. So number 1, change in state, matter, okay, matter state is change. Now change in color may change in temperature, that means the exothermic and endothermic reaction, and number 4 is evolution of gas. I think this is clear to all of you. Now make a point, ways of representing a chemical reaction, ways of representing a chemical reaction, okay, just write it, ways of representing a chemical reaction, okay. Number 1, word equation. Number 2, chemical equation. So we can say the representation of any chemical reaction, we can represent it by 2 ways. Number 1, word equation, and number 2, chemical equation. What is word equation? Very simple. What is word equation? Suppose zinc plus sulfuric acid, these are the reactants, and product will be zinc sulfate plus hydrogen, okay. So this is the word equation, that means that we are representing the equation or representing the reaction by words only, okay. But this is not a good sign, because in this case you cannot you are not able to get the oxidation state, valency, and this kind of things, okay. That is why chemical equation is the best representation way for representing the chemical equation. What is this? This is zinc, zinc. This is sulfuric acid, that's sulfuric acid H2SO4, and this is zinc sulfate plus H2. So you can easily say H2 is gas, zinc sulfate is precipitate, H2SO4 is liquid, and zinc is solid, okay. So this is the very good representation of any chemical reaction. So chemical equation is a type of representation way for any chemical reaction, okay. Now make some point, write some point. What make a heading, chemical equation. I am giving you some data to write, okay. Number 1, under chemical equation, okay. Number 1, a chemical reaction can be represented by chemical equation. A chemical reaction can be represented by chemical equation. It involves uses of symbol of elements. This is symbol of zinc, symbol of H2SO4, okay. Elements or chemical formula, that is the chemical formula of sulfuric acid, okay. Chemical formula of reactant and product with mention of physical state. This is the mentioning of physical state, okay. Physical state. Number 2 point, very important point, make a star on it. The necessary conditions such as temperature, pressure, or any catalyst should be written on arrow between reactants and products. Between reactant and products. What it means actually? This is nothing, just suppose here H2 N2, okay, so N2 plus 3H2, it will produce 2NH3, okay. So this is gas, nitrogen is gas, ammonia is also gas. So this is the normal representation of any chemical reaction by chemical equation, no problem with that, okay. We have written all the physical state of the reactant as well as the product side, but in this case these two are the reactants and this is product, but these two reactant is not sufficient enough to produce this ammonia without presence of a third particle or third thing, that is iron. So here iron, which is in solid state, is used as a catalyst. What is catalyst? Catalyst is nothing which can enhance or increase the rate of the reaction without changing any chemical property of the reaction as well as itself. That means if we add some iron, solid iron in this reaction, then the reaction will be very fast. Very fastly the reaction will occur, but this iron will be exactly same which we used before the reaction and after the reaction. In both the cases iron will be remain same and no hydrogen and nitrogen and ammonia will be converted to any other thing or distracted from this normal reaction by this iron. So iron is present here to increase the rate of the reaction, that means the catalyst. So like this catalyst, like suppose some reaction A plus B to C, in this reaction, for this reaction we need 20 degree centigrade temperature or we need 5 atmosphere pressure. So this temperature or this pressure or this catalyst which are used in this chemical reaction should be written on the arrow which is situated in between the reactant and the product. Is it clear? So the iron, that means the catalyst, the temperature, pressure, all these should be written on the arrow which is situated in between reactant and product. So these are the main things for the representation of any chemical reaction by chemical equation. Now make a heading, balancing of chemical equation. Make a heading, balancing of chemical equation. So students, for today this is the last thing, okay. So we will continue from that point, that is the balancing of chemical equation. Just leave some comment that you are able to understand my learning process, you are able to understand what I am saying here in the board in front of you, you are able to write all those things which I have given to you, okay. So please leave some comment, and if you are able to do this kind of things, then I will be I think I will be very much happy that in this tough time we are also connected through this video session. So thank you for watching and please stay connected because the next video will come just tomorrow, okay. Thank you and have a nice day.